Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. Earlier this week, India marked the 11th anniversary of the horrific 26 November terror attack in Mumbai. It was one of the lethal incidents of terrorism in Indian history, one that inflicted a deep wound on India's financial capital. However, there was one significant fallout of this incident. The nation resolved that it needed new measures to combat this enemy. One of the decisions that followed was to establish the National Investigation Agency to investigate and unmask terrorism and all its places of origin. As the Central Counter-Terrorism Law Enforcement Agency in India, the NIA has investigated about 250 cases since its formation. After submission of charge sheets, 37 cases have been finally or partially decided in trial, and of these, 35 cases have ended in conviction, giving NIA a conviction percentage of 91.3%. Recently, the NIA also hosted the first counter-terrorism exercise for the Quad countries, that's India, United States, Japan, and Australia. The counter-terrorism exercise was the first such engagement on cooperation in the region. On the show today, we tell you all about the National Investigation Agency, how and when it came into being, its vision and mission, and of course, its contribution to national security. The National Investigation Agency, or NIA, is a central agency established by the government to combat terror in the country. The agency came into existence with the enactment of the NIA Act of 2008 by the Parliament on 31st December 2008. Let's take a look as to how and why it came into being.
India has been the target of several instances of terrorism sponsored from across the borders. Many of these incidents have complex interstate and international linkages. Unmasking these linkages through a seamless investigations was the motive to set up an agency at the central level to investigate offences related to terrorism and certain other acts that have national ramifications. The government proposed to enact a legislation to establish a National Investigation Agency to investigate specific cases under specific acts. Accordingly, the NIA Act was enacted on 31st December 2008 and the National Investigation Agency was born. According to the bill, NIA has concurrent jurisdiction that empowers the central agency to probe terror attacks in any part of the country, including challenges to the country's sovereignty and integrity, bomb blasts, hijacking of aircraft and ships, and also attacks on nuclear installations.
See, in the aftermath of 26/11, the government felt a need that a specialist agency should be constituted to handle terrorist-related crimes. It was in that background that NIA Act was passed by the Parliament, and NIA came into existence in the first month of 2009.
At present, NIA is the Central Counter-Terrorism Law Enforcement Agency in India. It is empowered to deal with terror-related crimes across states without special permission from the states. Headquartered in New Delhi, the NIA has branches in Hyderabad, Guwahati, Kochi, Lucknow, Mumbai, Kolkata, Raipur and Jammu. The agency aims to match the best international standards in investigation. It aims to set the standards of excellence in counter-terrorism and other national security-related investigations at the national level. It also aims at creating deterrence for existing and potential terrorist groups or individuals, and develop as a storehouse of all terrorist-related information. The NIA works with a certain mission. It does in-depth professional investigation of scheduled offences using the latest scientific methods of investigation. The agency ensures effective and speedy trials. develops a professional workforce through regular training and exposure to the best practices and procedures. It displays scientific temper and progressive spirit while discharging its duties. The agency inducts modern methods and latest technology in every sphere of the agency. It also assists states and other investigating agencies in investigation of terrorist cases. The agency also studies laws relating to terrorism in other countries and evaluates existing laws in India to propose changes when necessary.
See, NIA basically works on the principle of like CBI, the officers are mainly taken on deputation from the state police forces. The senior supervisory officers are generally, they belong to Indian Police Service, and the agency is headed by an officer of the rank of Director General of Police. The other officers are also taken from some of the other enforcement agencies because NIA deals with the terrorist financing and other related aspects.
NIA has investigated 244 cases till date. After submission of charge sheets, 37 cases were finally or partially decided in trial. Of these, 35 cases ended in conviction, giving NIA an inviolable conviction percentage of 91.3%. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The basic purpose of the NIA is to investigate and prosecute people for offences affecting the sovereignty, security and integrity of India. The original bill was amended on 17th of July this year to provide for investigation and prosecution of offences listed in a schedule, scheduled offences. More details in this report. The National Investigation Agency Act 2008 was enacted to constitute the NIA. It was brought in the wake of the Mumbai terror attacks on 26 November 2008, in which 174 people lost their lives. The basic purpose of the NIA was to investigate and prosecute people for offences affecting the sovereignty, security and integrity of India. The Act also empowered officers to investigate scheduled offences committed outside India, subject to international treaties and domestic laws of other countries. The Centre could also direct the NIA to investigate such cases as if they had been committed in India.
It has now the power to probe terror attacks against Indians living abroad and at Indian interests abroad. So let us say if India has got certain interest in, let us say if there is an oil facility which is located abroad with another country and that is attacked by a terrorist attack, then the NIA will be the one which will be investigating that.
Further, a special court in New Delhi had jurisdiction over these cases. On 8 July 2019, Union Home Minister Amit Shah introduced the National Investigation Agency Amendment Bill 2019 in the Lok Sabha. The bill amended the National Investigation Agency Act 2008 to provide for investigation and prosecution of offences listed in a schedule, scheduled offences. Further, it allowed creation of special courts for the trial of these scheduled offences. Scheduled offences under the Act include offences under the Atomic Energy Act 1962 and the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967.
It has got now the power to investigate scheduled offences. Now we must understand actually why this is important. What happens in India is the police powers are really on the state list. So it is the states which carry out investigations of any crimes which take place within their borders and not the centre. What has happened now is that the NIA has been given powers on the concurrent list that they can also investigate these specific cases. And these cases are important because they relate to terrorism.
In addition, the bill allowed the NIA to investigate human trafficking, offences related to counterfeit currency or bank notes, manufacture or sale of prohibited arms, cyber terrorism, and offences under the Explosive Substances Act 1908. Officers of the NIA have the same powers as other police officers in relation to investigation of such offences across India. While the Act also allowed the Centre to constitute special courts for the trial of scheduled offences, the bill allowed the Centre to designate sessions courts as special courts for the trial of scheduled offences.
It has set up special courts to try these cases. So the importance of the courts, I think, is the most vital amongst all these, because once the evidence is collected, then through a designated NIA court, we can actually process the case much faster and bring it to a successful conclusion.
The centre is required to consult the Chief Justice of the High Court, under which the Sessions Court is functioning, before designating it as a special court. When more than one special court has been designated for any area, the senior-most judge will distribute cases among the courts. Further, state governments may also designate sessions courts as special courts for the trial of scheduled offences. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Time for a short break on the program, but on the other side, we'll tell you about some of the major cases being investigated by the NIA. Do stay with us. Welcome back after the break. You're watching In Depth. Since its formation, the NIA has registered and investigated at least 244 cases till date. After submission of charge sheets, 37 cases have been finally or partially decided in trial, and of these, 35 cases have ended in conviction. And as we told you, this is what has given NIA an enviable conviction percentage of 91.3%. Let's look at some of the major cases being investigated by the NIA.
The National Investigation Agency has investigated some major cases in the last decade. These include the Pulwama terror attack of February 2019, in which a convoy of vehicles carrying security personnel on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway was attacked by a vehicle-borne suicide bomber at Lethpora near Avantipura in the Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. The attack resulted in the death of 40 CRPF personnel and the attacker himself. Pakistan-based Islamist militant group Jaish-e-Mohammed claimed responsibility for the attack. India has accused Pakistan for the attack, even as Pakistan denies any involvement and has condemned the attack. On September 18, 2016, near the town of Uri in Jammu and Kashmir, 4 terrorists attacked the administrative block of the camp of the 12th Brigade of the Indian Army early in the morning. Terrorists lobbed 17 grenades in 3 minutes, causing a massive fire in the barracks and tents where 13 Jawans were burnt alive. Many others received severe burns. 4 Jawans succumbed to their injuries later. After a 6-hour gun battle, all 4 terrorists were eliminated. More than 20 Jawans underwent treatment at the hospital. 15 security personnel were killed in a Maoist ambush on 11th March 2014 in Sukma district of South Chhattisgarh. 1 civilian also died in the crossfire while 3 were injured. A joint team of about 50 CRPF and Chhattisgarh police personnel were moving from Tongpal village to Jiram Ghati when about 100 Maoists surrounded them and opened fire. NIA has registered a murder case against 2 Italian Marines for allegedly killing 2 Indian fishermen off the Kerala coast in 2013. The agency alleges that the fishermen Celestin and Pinku were shot dead by the 2 Marines on board Enrica Lexi, an Italian ship in the Arabian Sea, on February 15, 2012. On 25 May 2013, Maoists attacked a convoy of Congress leaders in the Darbha Valley in Sukma district of Chhattisgarh. The attack resulted in at least 27 deaths, including that of former State Minister Mahendra Karma and Chhattisgarh Congress Chief Nand Kumar Patel. Vidya Charan Shukla, a senior Congress leader, succumbed to his injuries on 11th June 2013. Terror struck the temple town of Bodh Gaya in Bihar on July 7, 2013, when 9 serial explosions rocked the Mahabodhi temple complex, injuring 5 people, including 2 monks. As many as 13 bombs were planted, out of which 10 exploded, while 3 live bombs were defused. The case was investigated by the National Investigation Agency, and 5 people were convicted and sentenced by the court in 2018. On 11th October 2007, at about 6:14 p.m. during the time of Iftar, a powerful bomb exploded in the compound of Dargah Sharif Ajmer, in which 3 persons died and another 15 were injured. Earlier in the same year, on 18th May, a bomb exploded inside the Mecca Masjid in Hyderabad during Friday prayers, resulting in the death of 9 people and injuring another 58. On 8 August 2006, 4 bomb explosions, 3 in Hamidiya Masjid and 1 at Mushwara Chowk, occurred in Malegaon in Maharashtra, resulting in the death of 31 people and injuring 312.
Number of terrorist related cases, Dilsukh Nagar blast, Bodh Gaya blast, and Samjhota blast, then Ajmer, Makkah Masjid blast in Hyderabad, Ajmer Sharif blast, and number of cases pertaining to fake currencies, and also now it's also given the power to investigate cases under Anti-Hijacking Act. So it has recently taken over investigation of some such cases.
The National Investigation Agency has also busted IS terror modules in Kerala, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Uttarakhand from time to time. With inputs from Vipul Agrawal, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
We've already looked at the major cases that the NIA is investigating or has investigated. Let's now look at the NIA's most wanted list. It has 258 names, including 15 women, and has such names as Hafiz Saeed, David Headley, and Zakir Naik. So here's a report at NIA's most wanted list.
In August 2011, 3 months after the killing of Osama bin Laden, India released a list of the 50 most wanted fugitives it alleged were hiding in Pakistan. The list was prepared in consultation with the CBI, the NIA, the Intelligence Bureau and other law enforcement agencies. The CBI had named 40 people and the NIA included 10 suspected terrorists in its list. The list was later pared down to 48 as 2 people were in India. Then in October 2018, the NIA released a new most wanted list containing 258 names, including 15 women. Some of the prominent names on the list include Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, Syed Salahuddin, David Coleman Headley, Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi, and Zakir Abdul Karim Naik. Hafiz Muhammad Saeed is a Pakistani Islamist terrorist, co-founder of the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the chief of the Jamaat-ud-Dawa operating mainly from Pakistan. In April 2012, the United States announced a bounty of $10 million on Saeed for his alleged role in the 2008 Mumbai attacks that killed 164 civilians. India has been trying to bring Hafiz Saeed to justice in the country, but its efforts have failed so far because of Pakistan's inaction. Following a Lahore High Court ruling, Saeed is currently moving freely around the country. Syed Muhammad Yusuf Shah, commonly known as Syed Salahuddin, is the head of Hizbul Mujahideen, a pro-Pakistan separatist militant organization operating in Kashmir. Salahuddin has vowed to block any peaceful resolution to the Kashmir conflict, threatened to train more Kashmiri suicide bombers, and vowed to turn the Kashmir Valley into a graveyard for Indian forces. Besides being on the NIA's most wanted list, Salahuddin has also been named as a specially designated global terrorist by the US Department of State. David Coleman Headley is an American terrorist of Pakistani origin. Headley allegedly made periodic trips to Pakistan for Lashkar-e-Taiba training. Under the direction of Lashkar chiefs, Headley performed 5 spying missions in Mumbai to scout targets for the 2008 attacks. He was arrested at the airport in Chicago while on his way to Pakistan in October 2009. Indian investigators got direct access to Headley and he appeared in Indian courts via video conferencing at the trial of Tahawwur Hussain Rana, an alleged co-conspirator. Headley gave detailed information about Pak ISI's hand in the attacks. Headley was prosecuted by a Mumbai special court in early February 2016. Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi is a Pakistani terrorist known as the top leader of the terrorist group Lashkar-e-Taiba. He currently serves as the Supreme Commander of Operations in Kashmir and as a member of LAT's General Council. Lakhvi was also involved in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. Zakir Naik is an Indian Islamic televangelist and Islamic preacher. He is the founder and president of the Islamic Research Foundation and also the founder of Peace TV, which is banned in India. He is part of the NIA most wanted list over allegations of terror-related activities and inciting extremism through hate speeches. Besides India, his preaching is currently also banned in Bangladesh, Canada, the United Kingdom and Malaysia under anti-terrorism or anti-hate laws. With inputs from Vipul Agarwal, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's it from us today in depth. We'll be back same time on Monday now with a comprehensive view on some other subject. You can also watch our program online on YouTube and Twitter, and you can also drop in your feedback and suggestions about our program. Thank you for your time.